Greetings and salutations, people. This is not Shane Satterfield.
Christian Slater.
This is not Christian Slater either, or
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland, or anybody like that. This is Invisible Walls. I am Marcus Beer, again filling the void left by Shane, who's off having cable done or something, or his cable's done and being done or whatever.
And that's not code, that's actually what's going on.
With us this week, we have the always eloquent Ryan Stevens.
Hello.
We have a great treat, the excellently Welsh last-named Brandon Jones.
Hey everybody, good to be back.
The freshly shorn Daniel Bloodworth, who is missing about 3 feet of hair.
Hey.
And the lovely William Brooks Huber, because I found out his first name was William last week, and I've been...
Yeah, how'd you find out?
Because it was on your Game Informer magazine that was on
Subscription,
your desk.
okay.
Yeah, you shouldn't get subscriptions to William sent to William Huber.
Yeah, just so you know, my middle name is Brooks. Let's just stick to that.
Last person to actually have a Game Informer subscription.
Here's the gift.
All right, so we have special occurrence here on Invisible Walls today. We actually have a special guest, and it's been a while since we've had a special guest, isn't it, Ryan?
Yes, it's been a very long time.
But you're not our special guest, so I'm not going to talk to you. We actually have somebody called Jennifer Savory, who has joined us from bringit.com, and she's here to tell us about Bring It, and it apparently is no relation to the cheerleading movie franchise that is so popular for people who like watching cheerleaders. Not me, of course, I'm a grown man. So Jennifer, welcome. Thank you for coming to Invisible Walls.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about Bring It.
Bring It. And we're very excited to be here. Nice to talk to everybody. Bring It is a new idea in competitive video gaming. And by that we mean people who like to play each other via their console-based video games. So we have Xbox 360, PlayStation, and Wii on our site. And if you like to play people and think you're pretty good and you want to put real money on a video game, that's the point of Bring It. So you come to our site and you find somebody who plays the game that you play on the console you like to play. You challenge them to a head-to-head tournament. You decide what entry fee you'd like to put. So for instance, if I was going to challenge Ryan on Xbox 360 for $10 each, we would enter into a head-to-head tournament for Madden, maybe. I don't know if you play Madden or Gears of War or Call of Duty. And we would play our game, and the winner of our head-to-head tournament would get the entire pot.
So I guess my question is this the honor system, or you guys have some sort of software technology playing referee or something?
We have both. The majority of players will start out using a reputation system similar to eBay. So people who have played you will be able to leave feedback, leave a comment, and they'll rate you as positive, neutral, or negative, and leave comments. So the next time you challenge me, I'll be able to look at your profile and I'll see that you've played 15 games, all of your feedback has been positive, everybody's, you're a good guy, weak on your left tackle, I got it. We also have a automatic score reporting that once you get pretty serious, if you choose to enable on, it's only available on about 10 games right now, but predominantly the EA Sports titles, Madden, FIFA, NHL, NBA, have automatic score reporting. So if you set up in your EA Live or in your Xbox Live system to have your emails sent to your username at report.bringit.com, we will parse that email and figure out who you played, who you had challenged, what their gamer tag was, and we'll automatically credit you the win.
But I mean, what's stopping having your brother come in who's really good at the game you're bad at and be like a ringer?
Well, that's the reputation system, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, the people will get a reputation if they do things like that over time. What we've worked really hard to ensure is that each person is tied to one account. So on some sites, you might get a situation where somebody tries to go in there, make an account, pretend that they're really bad for a while, and then try to up their score. Or maybe you can wipe your account out. On Bring It, you can't do any of those things. Once you make an account on Bring It, we've said there's one person per account, and that account can't be cleaned out or wiped out if you decide that you got too good and too many people know you want to change your username. we're not going to let you do any of that. So that we're really trying to make a community here where people get a reputation, they get known, they know each other, and they can play against people in a fair and competitive way for real money.
So how does it work with regards to the money? Is it a PayPal system? Do people have to enter credit card details?
When you first sign up for an account, you can fund your account either through PayPal or through a major credit card, and we accept all the credit cards. So you have then sitting at Bring It, say $50. Once you and I decide to enter into a tournament for $10 each, $10 is taken out of both of our accounts and held in escrow by Bring It. You get 24 hours to play the game and come back and either report it or have it auto score reported. Then the money is automatically transferred to the reported winner's account.
How does Bring It make money on this? Because I mean, if Ryan and I have a game, we bet $10 each, and Ryan beats me, which is very rare and unlikely. But if he does beat me and gets the $20, what's in it for Bring It? How does it work? Are you ad driven? Is there a subscription? Is there a percentage?
Cut of the purse.
It's entirely free to join, and we are not ad driven. It is a 10% service fee on the winnings.
Next question, with regards to things like, you're playing a game, you're kicking somebody's backside, and the connection drops. Your connection drops. How do you guys cope with that? Because obviously I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to get very upset if they've got like a $20 game going, they're well up and they get bumped.
So our disconnect policy is that you have two options. The person who is losing at the time of the disconnect can say, I forfeit. The second option, and what most of our members do, is to restart the game and get the score matched up at the same point in the game. So again, using Madden as an example, if it's the end of the third quarter and it's 14-21, we set the game up and then we continue play from that point forward.
So it does rely on the honor system a lot with regards to people actually being grown up and mature about this. So the next question, is this US based only, continental US? Is it, can you play in Canada? Can you play in Europe, Australia?
Yep, you can play anywhere in the world. We'd love to have people. We actually have a good number of people from Australia and from Europe playing FIFA right now.
So what's actually your most popular game right now?
Right now, Madden. It's in the U.S., it's the middle of the NFL season, and everyone's talking NFL playoffs, and so you get a lot of people playing Madden 09 right now.
Can you do any team games, or is it pretty much more one-on-one stuff?
Well,
I'm thinking like first, a lot of shooters, you're really playing with a team usually. The
Yeah.
free-for-alls aren't that big.
two answers for that. The first-person shooter clan system is a feature that Bring It's launching, but not until maybe Q1 or Q2 of 2009. The multiplayer tournaments is another big feature of Bring It. So if
Are these ones that you're throwing, or is it ones you just kind of monitor?
Nope, we will be. We're really excited. They're actually launching this week. And so you'll be able to enter into a bracket-style tournament pick your game. We'll have a rotating schedule of games. You'll be able to enter into this bracket-style tournament for perhaps an entry fee of $5 and play again in a series of rounds with the winner winning a larger prize purse, maybe $250, maybe $500, something like that.
How many members do you have right now?
We've been live about 2.5, 3 weeks, and we have over 1,000 members.
All right. So do you actually have a limit with regards to how much you can bet?
So because reputation is so important on our site, what we do is we have a graduated system of increasing limits. So your first 5 to 10 games, we want you to play for $50 or less. Once you've played for 10 games, you can play for $100. Once you've played for 20 games, you can play for $500. And once you've played over 30 games, you have an extensive history. We know who you are. We've probably transacted with you several times. People in the community know you. At that point, we don't have a limit for your wagers.
All right. So Jennifer, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
The site is bringit.com. Obviously, the link is probably up on the podcast right now, on the video, because we're that technologically advanced.
What is this? Sounds like Niles. A little less wacko, though.
All right, it's that time of the month again where we get to look at the MPD sales figures for the month. Shane isn't here to argue with me this time, so I automatically win any and every argument. But there's one thing that stands out on the MPD sales figures for the US for November, and holy baby jeebas on a bike. What the hell happened with the Wii? 2.04 million units shifted in the month of November.
Dominated.
It wasn't even dominated. I mean, it just absolutely killed everybody else.
It's insane. Yeah, way beyond anything we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. And I know, I think it was you saying, Bloodworth, that they shifted 800,000 Wii units over
Thanksgiving weekend, yeah.
Thanksgiving weekend, which is called Black Friday here in the US for all our European watchers and listeners. And basically that's when a lot of the sales start the Friday after Thanksgiving. But to put it in perspective, that weekend, Nintendo sold 36,000 less units than Microsoft did
Throughout the whole month.
The 360 came in at 836,000 units.
Amazing. I'm just glad Nintendo had the supply to meet with that demand, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean,
They fully prepared for this. And
Do you think that's how much did? It obviously sold less when the console came out, right?
Well, yeah, they
Since
did.
Yeah,
that
that's because
month.
the whole time they've been building more and more and more units.
So is this purely just having the demand, being able to meet the demand that's generating these sales numbers? I mean, if they had 3 million on shelves, would there have been 3 million sold?
They probably would have sold more, and I think it's interesting that there are more Wiis in stock now for this Christmas as you find the dollar gaining ground on the euro and the pound. Where, in the past Nintendo have been diverting all their stock to Europe and creating the scarcity here. Now they're readily available and they're selling. I mean, to be fair, they are absolutely selling. And then Nintendo also has the number 2 selling games console in the DS, which chipped in a 1.57 million, which that's just a great month for anybody. It's the biggest month for any console publisher in the history of games.
Well, they better do something next year.
Yeah, they've got to bring the software
Make
up.
everybody happy because we got the software there. Everybody's got a Wii in their home now. We just need
but I
something
think
to really be excited
They're happy
about.
just with Wii Play and Wii Fit. And
Well, that's the thing.
Wii
They
Sports.
do. I think they make somewhere like $8 to $10 per Wii sold, pure profit. It's still not a huge amount, but it's a fair amount.
Multiply
but,
that.
to have the top 2 selling systems, Xbox comes in at number 3, and then Sony brings up the lower half of the table with the PSP selling 421K, which is that's a really tidy figure again for the PSP. The PS3 unfortunately comes in at 378,000 units.
It's just still too expensive right now.
Well, I mean, and again, this is something we need to address because people have been talking about on the forums. We know that when you get the 360, it comes with a hard drive, it comes with a wireless adapter built in. Sorry, the PS3 brain not working.
Turn it on.
But yeah, it comes with all these things pre-built, and if you buy the cheapest Xbox 360, which is the arcade, you have to buy a hard drive, you have to buy an adapter.
All the
you have
hidden
to buy
expenses that you're not really aware of.
I think nickel and diming is the phrase Ryan used when we were talking about this earlier. So yeah, I mean the PS3 needs a price cut, but Sony can't afford it right now, I think. And then PlayStation 2 comes in at 206,000 units. So yeah, congratulations to Nintendo. You got the install base. Now just bring us some software to make it worth it, for God's sake.
Well, the good news is that Dragon Quest X was just announced for the Wii. So that'll be a few years off, but that's kind of like a tent pole for Japanese publishers.
Yeah.
So, they're going to be looking more towards the Wii to put out some of their more quality software just because of that.
Well, even when the Monster Hunter comes out, I think that's going to really be telling in Japan.
So, but again, Japan's been getting lots of hardcore games that we're not even seeing. So
I'm waiting for first-party Nintendo games. I know they announced Punch-Out, but I'm really looking forward to that. Pilot Wings. What else do they really have in their backlog that they could pull from? The new F-Zero.
I'd love to see a new F-Zero. Pilot Wings. I'd love to see Star Fox come back.
Yeah, Star Fox.
Star Fox could be great.
We need an in-house Star Fox.
Make sure Namco doesn't do it.
No, really good.
No, we need the official Nintendo seal of quality on those.
Yes.
The old seal.
And actually, that's had a knock-on effect with regards to the amount of, games that were shifted. I think the overall sector is up 22% on last year, which is fantastic considering that we're in tough economic times.
I think you can say recession now.
Yes, well, recession, you can, whatever you want to call it, we're in it.
Dire straits.
But yeah, the Wii has half the top 10 with Wii Play, Wii Fit, Mario Kart Wii, Guitar Hero World Tour on the Wii, and bizarrely enough, jumping into number 10 after
not charting
before. It's Wii Music, so you can definitely say thanks to their big console shifting numbers. I think for Wii Music.
I think
you can say thanks to the salespeople on Black Friday who had a giant stock of Wii Music that hadn't been sold yet, selling Wiis, and hey, here you go.
There's going to be some kids opening Wii Music, Christmas morn.
I feel bad
great.
for those kids.
Well, no, what scares me about Wii Music is not that people, 297,000 people bought that game, probably not realizing that it was a horrible game. What scares me is that they're going to play it on Christmas and probably still not realize that it's a horrible game.
Well, this goes back to Shane's number one hate in the world, which is casual gamers. And we discussed this last week, and yeah, people are going to buy it. And again,
But I mean, on the flip side, you look at Guitar Hero World Tour selling like gangbusters on the Wii. So the casual gamers, there's a crazy Venn diagram where they sometimes have some taste.
well, I think you look at the other titles that have shifted on the Wii, and all bar one of them are actually Nintendo titles. So Nintendo's just counting piles of money and wiping their ass with $100 bills right now.
I would like to just throw it out there that Left 4 Dead charting surprised me. I mean, I think it's a fantastic game,
Yep.
but I'm pleasantly surprised it sold that many, because that means there's going to be a bunch of people for me to play online, which was one of my big fears, is that it wouldn't do very well, and it's all about the online component.
And it actually
Yeah.
charted higher than Resistance 2, which comes in at number 9.
Yeah.
And then,
it does.
the only other PS3 game in the top 10 is Call of Duty World at War at almost 600,000 units. And then you look at the Xbox version, which sold, 900,000 units more. That's at number 2. And the number 1 game is Gears of War 2, 1.56 million. Fallout's dropped off the chart. Fable 2, which was the leader last month, that disappeared.
Yeah, not a lot of love for Mirror's Edge or.
Yeah, No Mirror's Edge, Dead Space, a lot of these titles. Rock Band is missing across the board. Rock Band 2 is gone.
Yeah.
Rock Revolution, never even charted.
At least people didn't get swindled into Need for Speed.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I heard EA may be dropping the series now.
yeah,
Yeah.
apparently.
Crazy.
You helped in that, Bloodworth.
It's actually,
Yeah. Round of applause.
Yeah.
everybody should thank
Johnny C's gonna
Bloodworth
cry.
because it's been it's rumored that they're
Brent's gonna cry.
combining the three Need for Speed teams into one Uber team.
Is this going to be
it's not
called
necessarily-
Burnout?
Well, it may not be that they're actually splitting, dropping the franchise, but hopefully they'll go to a game
Yeah,
every 2
they
years.
shouldn't. They
with
just need to get
kick-ass
that
DLC.
thing. Yeah, they need to get some time on that thing and really get it back up to par with
Reinvent the
competition.
wheel.
Anyway, that's NPD for this month. Well done, Nintendo. You keep on proving us wrong and thumbing your noses at us, and obviously we're insignificant and our opinions don't matter because
Hey.
the great unwashed are still buying your consoles.
Don't forget your base.
Amen. Alrighty, next up we are going to talk about a game on the PlayStation Network. Who'd have thunk it? We have a really cool looking game, and Daniel Bloodworth was so inspired by it he shaved off his hair. Daniel, tell us all about Flower.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Flower just because it's not an easy game to wrap your head around, even just watching a video. It's made by the same people that made Flow, and so it has that same kind of free form, almost relaxing kind of beauty to it. And it's really the sort of thing that, to me, defines one of the things that makes Sony so different, is really investing in these projects that are more of an artistic experience than just your average, run and pop little game. And so basically you control the wind in a way. And you start off, with one petal that pops off of a flower, and then you kind of move through these valleys of grass to, chain together all of these different flowers and open them all up. And doing so is kind of like an Okami or Twilight Princess mechanic, where you're bringing life back to kind of like a dead area. And it integrates the music really well. Every time you hit a flower, it picks up a tone, and if you get a nice string going together, then the sound is better as well. So it has kind of that that free-flowing, trying to get everything in without any hitches, kind of gameplay that Mirror's Edge or something has as well.
Now, the version you played is the preview version or the demo version?
It seems to be a demo, because
What,
there's
3
only
levels?
3 levels, and then it kind of cuts off after that.
Well, I mean, you played Lair, so I think you're very qualified to answer this. How's the actual controls? Because it's a tilt
It's all
game, right?
six-axis controlled, yeah.
Yeah, it's all 6-axis controls. You just hold a button to move forward and then tilt the controller, and they work great, I think.
Is it like instant, or is there like a bit of a learning curve?
There might be a little bit of a learning curve, but I don't think that. I think it feels very natural.
Yeah, it eases you into the action. So you start off pretty simply, just going from one simple area to the next, and then it gets a little bit more
Yeah.
complicated.
Well, I was watching, someone play it in the office, and I did have one thing came to mind, and it's kind of a weird question, I guess, for this sort of game. But can you lose? Can you,
I
like,
don't
can you
really
like
think so,
game
no.
over
You
or
know,
run
it-
out of time or something like that?
No, there's no timer on it. There's, if you go to the edge of the map, it'll steer you back in.
But
kinda
you're
like Star
rewarded by
Fox
doing well with
64.
the music and just the visuals, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
The visuals are spectacular. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you get a great big HD TV and you just,
Yeah, it's
like,
definitely something you'd want to show your friends when they came over there. Show off your system and
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, the way the colors pop in there. I mean, later on there's like, different color grass, like bluegrass and stuff like that, depending on what kinds of flowers you're hitting. And it just, it's just one of those things where you just kind of get lost in the zone kind of experience.
And you can change the elements around you. Like the first stage starts out, it's gray, it's cold, it's rainy. And then shortly after that, if you hit enough blue flowers, then the clouds start to disperse and it becomes nice and sunny. So
And how responsive is the 6-axis with regards to the gusts of wind and does it work well as a control system? I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels just completely natural, and and once you've, been doing it for a minute or so, then you're doing it without thinking, just like you would with the analog stick.
So no leaderboards is what you're saying.
No, there's not any kind of score. There are hidden.
How does levels stop?
There are like hidden flower petals or whatever that I think are accumulating to some kind of end game bonus. But the levels will end just by the way the first level is there's kind of like a spoke of dead spaces, and then they move as you get each spot on the spoke, then it lights up the middle. And then the middle leads towards this big tree, and once you've circled around the tree, you bring the tree back to life, and that brings the whole landscape back to life, and the level is done.
So would you say it's a puzzle game if you had to give it a genre, or would you say it's kind of just like a slow, relaxing...
They actually call it Zen gaming as the genre, which is very Japanese-like of them, even though they're here in California.
does it help if you get stoned off your box beforehand?
Only one way to find out.
All right, so on to a segment we haven't had for a while. He's been MIA, has off doing voiceovers and talking about Call of Duty. Here he is, Brandon Jones. What's up, Brandon?
Everything is up.
What's going on in your world? I mean, every time we walk past your office, you're busy playing games and not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
The name on your office isn't even correct. I mean, you haven't had time to fix that. You're obviously a busy man, so tell us, what are you doing?
Yeah, it says Brian Jones on my door. We actually had another employee briefly named Brian Jones. So that was him. I've actually been planning a lot of stuff that I can't talk about now because we still really have to have meetings to kind of finalize it. But planning a lot of new
Awesome stuff?
segments for next year because I kind of get in the rut of doing these big, like both Star Wars and Final Fantasy. There's huge projects and took a ton of time. So trying to develop things that would be quicker and more interesting. And
So you can't tell us anything right now. Why don't you just get
Just
out?
not
teasing
done,
us,
yeah.
Get out. I mean, we ask you in here, we're thinking that we're going to get these juicy exclusives.
One is something that Shane and I have been talking about since he first came on. It was like a weekend review. So it'd be like one feature that's every weekend that you can basically go and is us highlighting like what we thought was the best from like user movies to trailers to features to interviews and whatever. Just kind of like if we're on the site, watch this video and it's like the best stuff for that week.
So, any big retrospectives or anything like that coming up? I mean,
It's Monday today, but we'll have a couple days after this goes up on Sunday, I believe it's the 21st. We're going to have a kind of a mini retrospective, kind of same thing we did before GTA 4 came out for Liberty City, but it's just going to be about the Resident Evil movie, which is the Leon Kennedy, Claire Redfield movie, which I saw a couple days ago.
Resident Evil
Degeneration.
which I think our very own Johnny went to see, so did Damiani.
So that'll be like a little baby retro for that, just kind of focusing on those two characters. So I've been playing Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 and Code Veronica, which I had never played, which I just finally beat.
You should play Umbrella Chronicles. They'll sap
I can't wait.
It will sap your will to live.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Umbrella Chronicles?
I thought it was a great on game.
Black
I'm
Sheep.
sorry, I'm not saying anything.
Round one.
So lots of things going on
Yeah,
for next year. I mean, how do you feel about all the stuff? I mean, we know you've been working your ass off this year with regards to the retrospectives that have come out, and the World of Warcraft one was phenomenal. The Star Wars one has always been popular. Is there perhaps one game that you would love to do a retrospective on, and when nobody's talking about doing yet?
Well, we don't know when the release date's coming out, but I was excited to finally have an excuse to do a Castlevania retrospective. When I first had that teaser, that hopefully 2009, but Oh yeah, that was big, and there was just never. It's tricky because a lot of these big franchises just aren't really. They're kind of in a stagnant state right now, so they don't have anything that's big enough that's like a Metal Gear Solid 4 or Resident Evil 5 or something that's but something that's like, oh, that would be a great time to look back at that franchise.
So what's your most memorable thing that you've done this year?
Thing for the company or thing for
Just in
in
gaming,
games.
and it can be a retrospective. Actually, you pick both: the most memorable game of the year for you, and the most memorable moment for on game trailers.
Probably. I think my favorite moment this year was first starting to work with Marco, who produced the visuals and a lot. It was edited and was responsible for a lot of the work on the Warcraft series, which was fun because first of all, it's nice to have somebody else to work on that stuff. James Andre is another one of our editors. He's the only other person who's he cut Fallout and Metroid. Other than that, it's I've had to produce all these solo, and so it was really fun having somebody come in and make everything that I've done the last couple of years just look awful compared to his production values. But it's just exciting that he's really excited about it and does not view his future in this company as something like, oh, I really want to get promoted or do that. He's just really excited about making really cool content. So it's fun to bounce ideas off him. And I've mostly just been about the content whenever I do work, and I'm not a visual person. I don't think graphically, and it's fun to talk to somebody who does and is thinking like, oh, we could have could we do that this way?
Yeah, he did such a phenomenal job that everybody was convinced that Blizzard did it.
It was one of the first times he would tell me about things, and I'd be like, yeah, right, and see it like, wow, that's totally what he said it was going to be, and it looks amazing.
Yep.
So,
props to
hats
Marco.
off. Yeah, he did a great job.
Is Part 4 ever going to materialize?
I don't know. Yeah, we're talking about making it.
Patrick finished the script. So
we have a
it's coming.
script. We sent it to Blizzard. They sent it back, which is actually the first time in retro history that we have like a script. Like, this is the history of Warcraft. This cannot be argued. There are no debates on anything. This is approved by everyone at Blizzard. So we're thinking about maybe splitting that into 2 parts and making that, because that's like history. I've never seen a video feature on Azeroth ever. So it'll be fun to take the time and do it right.
So on a Blizzard tip, can we expect a Diablo StarCraft retrospective sometime next year?
There's only one game for Star.
It's only one game, but the expansion packs and talking about multiplayer.
That'd be interesting.
It's still those titles. The stuff on the console, StarCraft Ghost going bye, Diablo on the console, which was friggin' horrible. But yeah, I mean, we know that the Warcraft stuff was popular. Actually, every retrospective you've done this year has just been off the hook insane. So maybe in the next one you should be plugging in Invisible Walls, because your retrospectives get more listeners than we do. Woo! All right, so thank you, Brandon. Merry
Thanks
Christmas,
for having me.
Happy New Year. We'll have you on again in the new year when you've got something else to pimp that you can actually tell us this time. You get.
That, and I'll be in Northrend a lot, so if anybody's up there, I'll see you. I'll see you over the holidays.
All right, to wrap it up, it's been awards season. Everybody's been announcing their games of year, and we had the Spike VGAs this week, and some of us, as I said earlier, are still recovering. Brooks is still looking a little pale. So we'll go around the table, and we're going to ask everybody what stood out at the VGAs 2008. So I'll start off with you, Ryan. I love awards season. Stevens.
At one point, there was some girl giving an award, and then someone catcalled from the audience, "Take off your top."
That was the
Megan
bird from-
Fox.
Megan Fox from.
And I may have agreed. I'm not quite sure, but it was very funny, and I don't think it made it onto the show. So it was a little something only the people there at the VGAs could.
And they said it pretty freaking loud too. That was great.
Made me laugh. Surprise, surprise.
Brandon, what stood out for you?
I actually did not did not attend the show last night. I have not seen it yet. I did not TiVo it, but I did watch all the trailers this morning because I love some trailers. And I really I thought it was interesting because they all had to fit into a very short time frame, and that if there's one thing I hate is a really short trailer, unless it's a really good teaser or an announcement. But if a game's already announced, it's just not exciting to do a trailer that's really short. But I really like the Uncharted trailer, and I really like the Mafia trailer. I think they
Mafia
did a
was
really
good.
good job
Yeah.
in that space. I think they're really interesting, and like it's just interesting to compare those two against all of the other ones. And I will, Brutal Legend was amusing, but I like those two. I thought those were good models for how to do one in a minute and a half.
Daniel Bloodworth.
There was way too much time on dumb skits and musical acts that the audience probably doesn't care about. And I think the most standout thing about it to me is that they spent probably 6 to 8 minutes doing some stupid thing to promote the Mall Cop movie, and then they shoved like 15 awards into like a minute-long montage and showed Kojima sitting on a couch with his awards smiling for 2 seconds.
That's
Awesome.
actually totally valid. I totally agree with you. I was actually out smoking and missed the whole Mall Cop thing, but then I had to sit through it when it came to the TiVo, and yeah, that was just inane. Brooks.
It might have been a shameless promotion, but my favorite part of the show was when Jack Black announced Tim freaking Schafer.
With the flamethrower.
And he came out with a flamethrower and he kept throwing up those balls of fire, and Schafer was wheeled out by about 6 exotic women, like on a chariot. So that's kind of a cool little intro that he got there.
Okay, so the one thing that stood out for me was Fallout 3 getting totally gypped on the Game of Year award.
You don't agree?
It went to GTA 4. I don't agree, especially having had to play the PC version the last couple of weeks where I've had my refresher in GTA, and it's a bloody brilliant game, but don't get me wrong. But I think Fallout 3 took video games and RPGs and in particular to a new level. Vast environment, great looking game, crosses over between RPG and shooter, which I think the way these titles should be going. And I think Bethesda got reamed last night, and shame on all the video game journalists who voted for GTA, because at the end of the day it's GTA more of the same, which is not a bad thing, but it's certainly not Game of the Year material in my opinion. And for all you fanboys out there who are going to bitch at me and say I don't know what I'm talking about, you, I really don't give a rat's ass. Anyway, enough of that. We're going to go on and do our own slightly off-the-wall awards, because obviously there were some awards missed at the Spike VGAs last week, or last Sunday night. So hopefully some of these will actually make it into the VGA show next year. Who knows? And I'm going to start with Ryan Stevens. Give us an award.
Best use of fecal matter. And this goes to Saints Row 2 for their charming use of the sanitation truck to spray feces all over crowds of people.
And of course, by feces we mean for you who are too
I thought it was baby
Brontosaurus.
mice.
No, that's fetuses, isn't it? Republicans are going to love us. Brandon.
I'm sad to announce that there actually are 5 very viable nominees for the worst video game movie of 2008.
Well, just give us your winner, because we are only going to talk about the winners.
Well, I didn't see Far Cry, In the Name of the King, Max Payne, or Postal, but I did see Resident Evil Degeneration, and it is not very good. It has very little impact on the series as a whole, and the dialogue is pretty god-awful.
Awesome. Mr. Bloodworth?
This is our Bury It in the Desert and Forget About It award.
This is the E.T. award then, is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
Thankfully, I think this has already happened. This one I'm going to give to Battle of the Bands for the Wii. For everyone that knows and hates Wii music, this game is much, much worse.
So if you see this in the bargain bucket, avoid it, because Daniel Bloodworth said it's Brooks.
All right, I got the best death of 2008.
Oh, and let me guess which game this one's is going to win this award.
It's not Fallout 3, sorry.
Oh, no, I know.
This is going to go to
It's not GTA. Is it?
Gears of War 2.
And
And it
what is
would
the
be
death
the
animation?
reverse chainsaw up the spine. From the
You mean
back.
Up the spine? You mean up the ass, surely?
Yeah, vertical smile. You love it.
Awesome. And I got lumbered with best use of a celebrity to whore out your game. Don't know how I got this one. But anyway, I have to go with Kim Kardashian's ass.
a
And
sizable
how it
ass.
was used in the game Facebreaker. And I just want to say that it's freaking hysterical that something that big, if it sat on your face, it would break it. I mean, seriously, people have been lost up that thing. We haven't seen them for a while. Jimmy Hoffa might be up there.
Waldo.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on. But yeah, that thing has got a life of its own. And well done, Kim Kardashian.
Yep.
You've brought a whole new dimension to the phrase making an ass of yourself.
Nice.
That's the end of Invisible Walls for this week. And indeed, this is our last but one show of 2008. We are going to squeeze one more show in. Not next week. In fact, it's going to come in before Christmas and the New Year. We'll be recording on the 29th, which is a Monday. And we'll actually be looking to air the morning of the 30th. It'll be a very truncated show. Truncated meaning short. But it'll be up about 15 minutes where we're going to talk about our gaming resolutions with whoever's in the office at the time. And I think it's Brooks, Ryan, myself, Patrick, and Mr. Damiani who are going to be in town. But anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for tolerating this Shane-free existence. I know you miss him. We do too. My appreciation for what he does goes up every time I have to sit at this mic and introduce the show. Thank you again. Have a great week, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a Merry Christmas and happy holidays and a great Hanukkah and whatever else you do. Peace.